Hi, Andy Vadney here, head of school at Darrow. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all to Darrow School's 88th commencement ceremony. Every school year is unique, and therefore so is every commencement ceremony, especially for those for whom this traditional rite of passage means so much. It seems safe to say now, however, that Darrow's 2019 2020 academic year will go down in history as unique among the unique. High school seniors the world over are upset. This pandemic has stolen promised experiences that cannot be duplicated. Of course, they're right to feel this way. The only flimsy consolation I can offer our Darrow seniors today is to say that you're all making history. I met a woman the other day who graduated from high school in June of 1945. Think about it. That was only a month or so removed from the famous Victory in Europe Day, VE Day, that began the ending of World War II. I was asking her about what that was like, and she said they were upset too, the seniors then, because the war had robbed them of their precious experiences, and they were upset. But it's the same way this pandemic is robbing them from you. And for that, I am sorry. I wish I could change it, but I can't. As the years rolled by, however, that woman learned to appreciate the uniqueness of her commencement experience and that she was a part of history. My hope for you all is that in time, you will come to appreciate this odd moment in new ways as you tell your children and grandchildren that you too made history. In closing, I say congratulations to the class of 2020 at Darrow School. Well done. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce the 2019-2020 student body president. This young man, four-year senior from New Jersey, core leader, RA, three-season captain in soccer, basketball, lacrosse, and was last year's winner of the McIlvaine Award. He's also the kitchen prefect, a fabulous cook in his own right, and an all-around wonderful young man, Jared Woolridge.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Jared. Not in my cap and gown or anything. I don't feel like putting on at this moment. I'm outside enjoying this beautiful weather, and I'm not going to be sweating, overheating, and that. So sorry, I'm not looking that professional. But hey, I don't know if anybody else is wearing a cap and gown at the moment right now. But if you are, congratulations. But we made it. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Like this is like a weird time to be graduating in a weird way, but still, hey, let's enjoy it. Let's be proud of ourselves for the past 4+ years that we've been in high school. That we've just been in school just for this one moment right here. So yeah, that's pretty nice. But I kind of want to talk about just motivation through this time. I'm very unmotivated right now too, so it's kind of weird for me to be telling you guys to be motivated. But I'm changing that. Today I'm trying to do something. I'm smoking a duck in the corner right there. That's why I can't go inside to record this. But I don't know. I'm just trying to enjoy everything right now. I'm realizing that just staying inside and eating whatever food I want and just watching YouTube and television, it's not a healthy thing for me to be doing. You know, so I'm just gonna sit outside, read a book, and let my duck cook, which is a pretty cool thing to do. But I know everybody can't do that, so I just want people to just do stuff, like do whatever you can do, like wake up, do a couple of push-ups, like I did that before, do different kinds of push-ups to hit different kinds of muscles, and then you'll feel way better. Like hit some squats too, some calf raises and everything, lunges, but we have to stay active physically and mentally during this time. We can't be complacent right now. So that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do. That's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start waking up, going for a run, working out, reading a book. Not watching as much TV. I want to cut down watching TV. I want to. I'm stuck with my family, so I want to, talk to them a little bit, get to know. I don't talk to my family that much, so I'll get to know them a little bit. But I just want everybody to just I don't know, to just do something with your life right now. Like, I feel stuck. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there's nothing I can do. But I realize that there is stuff that I can do. There's stuff that's in my control. I can control whether I sit on my butt all day and do nothing, or if I just be active. Like, you don't have to do much to be active. Like, if you're stuck at home, all right, you got your body, hit some push-ups down, do something. Read a book, like, oh, look up on the internet free PDF versions of books, and you can read that. Like, really work on making yourself better. That's what I've been working on. What I'm going to continue to work on. Stuck at home with myself, so I'm talking to myself, and I'm realizing my faults, things I'm not good at, and I'm addressing that, and I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna fix on that. I'm not perfect, but I'll take this time to do that. But yeah, I don't wanna make this too long. I don't wanna sound like a motivational speaker or anything. But guys, just stay active. That's the thing, you know. Especially in this day and age, social media and how attached we are to the internet and phones and stuff, and I mean how lazy we're getting. I just want you guys to stay active. Like, I'm not just saying physically, because you gotta do that, but mentally as well. Continue to press yourself, continue to learn, and don't give up or anything. But we gotta stay active, guys. Like, I'm telling you, you feel way better. I feel way better when I'm active. So yeah, I know I keep telling you guys this, but we gotta do it. We gotta make a change. And class of 2020, you guys some of you guys have been adults. Some of you guys aren't technically adults, but we're going out into the real world now. At least some of us aren't. We just gotta keep it going. Yeah. So I want everybody to just continue educating yourself, no matter what. Like, just educate yourself. Just develop yourself in every single way. All right. Congrats one more time, and let's live life to the fullest. Ooh, my hands look bad on that.
Each year, the seniors select one member of their class to speak at graduation. The class of 2020 chose Julia Ordu. Julia is a 4-year senior from Philmont, New York. She is both a music and fitness prefect and has served as a core leader for the last 2 years. She is a talented musician and dedicated student. Now, here's Julia.
Since I was a baby, I have loved to sing. My mom has stories of me as a 1-year-old putting on full concerts in the reflection of the oven window for me, myself, and I, mostly opera. On the Darrow Theater stage from 2nd grade to 6th grade, I performed each year in my elementary school plays. I once had a solo about being a crow and another one about the importance of composting. My middle school had a powerful chorus. 200 voices sang Bohemian Rhapsody and every Christmas tune you can imagine, and we sounded good. When I got my first solo, it was only one line, but it was a huge deal for me. Even before I started at Darrow, I went to every mountainside concert I could go to. My love for singing was strong, but I didn't yet understand the power it could have over me or other people. I didn't have the confidence I needed. I was unable to look at the audience when I sang, and my ability to connect emotion and meaning to the words was not there. I'll never forget the first time I heard Miss Masry sing. She was a guest star at the time and was not yet Darrow's chorus teacher. I remember being in awe of her. The way she transported me and the entire audience blew me away. I told my mom at that moment that I wanted a voice teacher like her. I realized right then what kind of singer I wanted to be. One who could transport people, one who could change someone's mood, even if it was just for a minute, through song. Fast forward to now, and Miss Masry has been my voice teacher for the past 4 years. As a Darrow freshman, I immediately joined the chorus. That's when I started to look at music more seriously. I began to train my voice and gain a better understanding of music with the help of Miss Masry and Mr. Warba. My abilities became my safe space. When I sing in the pack, to this day, I never hold back. The amount of voice cracks I have had there is astounding, but who cares? I love thinking about those voice cracks because they showed me I could mess up and still move forward. I found my love for music. It cast a spell on me that has yet to be lifted. The pack led me to the tannery, performing in 7 concerts, as well as tannery sessions, and participating in many other functions there. So I'll let you in on a little secret. Before every concert, I got really nervous, and for some reason my throat would always feel a little sore. I would practice lyrics over and over, but the coolest thing happened every time. The second I got up on that stage and saw everyone in the audience, the nerves and the sore throat went away. The best explanation for that is that seeing everyone there in the audience always reminded me I was doing what I loved. The tannery is where I found my voice. It was sophomore year. I had an actual sore throat this time and had 4 lemons on the day of the concert and enough tea and honey to avoid that mixture for the next year. My solo was called This Is Me. I had had a really hard day that day, one where ironically I felt like I didn't have a voice and that I wasn't strong enough to help the people I cared about. But before I knew it, I was on that stage staring at an audience full of people. The song is about finding one's inner strength. And the words spoke to me. Towards the end of the song, it was only me and the piano in the entire tannery. I remember closing my eyes in that moment and smiling and truly, for the first time, connecting to and believing the words I was singing. I got a standing ovation for that performance, and that support made all the difference. What the audience didn't know was that they were the ones who had made it possible for me to have that moment of growth. Since then, I've always looked to connect with the audience. I would say the one thing that has bothered me the most about my time at Darrow getting cut short is that I no longer get to spend my free time in the pack. Although, Mr. Warba, if you walk into the pack one day in the future and see me in the big computer room blasting my music and singing my heart out, I'm sorry, there's nothing you will be able to do about it. With everything happening lately, I have found that singing is still the one thing that transports me out of this world and into my own. While going out in public is a no-go, there are currently no laws that forbid me from driving in the countryside singing my heart out. I have put on full concerts for cows, sheep, and the occasional squirrel. And you know what? I love it. I love singing in my car. I love the world it takes me to. And yes, I just realized while writing this that I just described every Disney princess that sings to animals. But I get why they do it now. So do what you love. Don't stop doing what you love, no matter what people tell you. I'm lucky to have something I love so much and to have such a clear path forward. If it wasn't for my experiences with music, I'm not sure I would know what road to follow. I'm not sure I would have the confidence I do if I wasn't so well supported. I urge you all to think hard about what you love to do, to think about the support you receive when doing it, and to think about how you feel about yourself when doing what you love. To my class, we are moving on from the mountainside and will be facing all sorts of opportunities. Take the ones that let you do what you love. Lastly, and I truly cannot believe I'm saying this, thank you to my friends, family, and Darrow for making me the confident young woman I am today. One day we will have a ceremony where we can celebrate together, and I hope you can say that you never stopped doing what you love. Thank you.
It is my privilege to introduce the valedictorian of the Darrow class of 2020, Neshima Vitali Penniman. Neshima grew up in Albany and later Grafton, New York, where she has been deeply involved in the work of Soulfire Farm. Co-founded by her mother and former science teacher at Darrow, Leah Penniman, Soulfire Farm is a community organization devoted to fighting race and class injustices in the food system. Neshima became familiar with Darrow during her mother's tenure here. She was drawn to the closeness of this community, as well as the autonomy provided by the school's educational philosophy. She has made the most of it. Graduating after 3 years at Darrow, Neshima has taken advantage of the most challenging courses offered by the school, and taking her inquiry-based approach to learning in each of them further than most of her teachers even thought possible. Her athletic endeavors have included cross-country, ultimate frisbee, and soccer. This year, she was named co-captain of the girls' soccer squad. Her artistic expression has taken a multitude of forms, from ceramics, stained glass, and graphic design, to woodworking and printmaking. Fittingly selecting one of the most difficult instruments possible, she has chosen to express her immense musical talents through the harp, as attendees of Darrow's music concerts and viewers of the Tannery sessions can attest. Neshima will continue her education at Brown University after taking a moment to, in her words, see how her passions manifest in the real world. We here at the Mountainside, who have had the good fortune of getting to know Neshima over the last 3 years, know that those manifestations will be thoughtful, varied, and awe-inspiring. Neshima Vitali Penniman.
Greetings, family and friends of the Darrow class of 2020. Thank you for being present to celebrate us, albeit in an unconventional fashion. I want to start by offering my gratitude to all those who have held us on our journey. First, I offer thanks to the ancestors, whose sacrifice and example paved the way for us to be here. Our ancestors know us better than we know ourselves, for their lived experiences shaped the evolution of our bloodlines. We have so much to learn from our ancestors, who traverse challenges unimaginable to us as we navigate unfamiliar circumstances. I offer gratitude to this land and to its original stewards, the Stockbridge-Munsee Mohican people, who fostered ingenious methods of living in reverent relationship with the earth and its creatures. Thank you to the Darrow Board of Trustees and Darrow alumni for your continued support and engagement with this community. Thank you, Darrow staff, for keeping all of us safe, nourished, and accountable. Thank you, faculty, for providing environments for us to stretch our minds and challenge the boundaries of comfort. Thank you, parents and loved ones who encourage and guide us. Next, I want to recognize the students of Darrow. It has truly been a joy to grow synergistically as we've explored the multifarious manifestations of learning that our shared experiences have offered. To my fellow members of the class of 2020, I feel so inspired by the passion in your ventures. There are no two people in this class that have the same vision for the future, and that is a beautiful thing. I wish you all a blessed journeys to fulfilling the dreams closest to your hearts. Lastly, I feel pulled to offer gratitude to the children on the Darrow campus, who help us teenagers practice our playfulness and our gentleness. You remind us to nurture that essential spark of youth in our hearts that sometimes flickers amidst the stress of academic life. My gratitude abounds for all those I've mentioned and many more unnamed. I want to talk today about someone who joined the realm of ancestors on March 30th of this year. His music has become inextricably woven amongst the threads of my life. Dancing in the sunshine, knowing it's gonna be a lovely day. Exploring what love is as I watched crystal raindrops fall and yearned for a moment for just the two of us. And 2 days after his death, gathering around the piano with my family to remind one another that you can lean on me when you're not strong. Bill Withers is who I'm talking about, a musician who fused numerous genres to create something legendary, something authentic, something that never departed from his origins in a rural mining town in Slab Fork, West Virginia. Let's travel back, circa 1972, to a Wurlitzer electric piano in a room in Los Angeles. Having released a successful first album, Withers could afford to purchase a modest piano. And in this moment in 1972, he was just sitting behind his piano, running his hands up and down the keys. For the past 5 years living in LA, Withers had felt a longing for his hometown, and he started to match words to this feeling. And he matched those words to a melody, and that melody to a few piano chords. He started with the phrase, "lean on me," and began to formulate lyrics to precede this plea. As a child, Withers was immersed in a culture of reciprocity, which was birthed from economic necessity. When everyone was working in the mines in West Virginia, mutual understanding was necessary for survival, quite literally. Hostility might result in unreliability that could jeopardize safety. And so, Withers encountered reciprocity as a normality. Withers had a neighbor who had a refrigerator, and his family had a phone. It was without question that the neighbors gave Withers' family ice, while the Withers family allowed the neighbors to use the phone. The local web of mutuality that was so familiar to Withers in West Virginia was foreign to those he encountered in the industrial, urban, and individualistic LA. His expression of his longing for this culture of interdependence offers a universal message that has particularly powerful implications in this time of global crisis. Lean on Me has emerged naturally as a song of resilience and togetherness during the COVID-19 pandemic. Neighbors in an apartment complex in Dallas, Texas, leaned out of their windows to serenade the empty streets. Medical workers in a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, sang along to Withers' husky voice while packing personal protective gear. This is no coincidence. Lean on Me, simply as a piece of music, is fundamentally structured to encourage accessibility and inclusion. The chord structure is simple enough for a beginning pianist. The lyrics are uncomplicated and catchy. There are few vocal embellishments, and its message is universally relevant. It's a great sing-along song, simply put. When you hear this song, the automatic reaction is to form the lyrics with your own lips, or maybe to move your body to the rhythm, or perhaps just hum along to yourself. Regardless, Lean on Me elicits embodied participatory reactions. In its essence, it draws people together. While heartbreaking, there is something fitting and beautiful in Bill Withers becoming an ancestor during this pandemic. He seems to be imploring us to listen more deeply to the message of his lyrics. Today, you may need to lean on me. Tomorrow, I may need to lean on you. My well-being is inextricably bound with yours. We uplift one another as part of a web of reciprocity. There is strength in being humble enough to ask for help in moments of weakness, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. There is gratification in being generous enough to offer help when it is within your capacity, and telling your neighbor, please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow. We are waking up to what is most valuable, most essential to our well-being and survival. Communities all over the world are practicing reciprocity as part of their new normal. People everywhere are bearing the loads others cannot carry. Organizations throughout the country are preparing food for those that are struggling financially and those on the front lines. People are delivering groceries to elders and those with compromised immune systems. And here at Soulfire Farm, we are building home gardens for people living under food apartheid. People are wearing masks to protect the health of others. Campuses and hotels are opening their spaces for workers on the front lines. And as a country, we are realizing that blue-collar workers are and always have been the most essential. Everywhere you look, people are stepping up to protect those who are most vulnerable. In many ways, this pandemic has drawn out our human impulse to be interdependent. It is unignorable that our collective well-being relies on our ability to cultivate trust and mutual understanding amongst ourselves, and to practice reciprocity. As expressed in a Partners in Health statement, the health and well-being of one is intimately bound to the health and well-being of all. We in the Darrow community should feel a deep resonance, a soul-level knowing of Bill Withers' central message in Lean on Me. The value we place in community is gleaned in part from the Shaker tradition. The Shakers were equity-minded and lived communally, sharing responsibilities and partaking in the bounty of their collective successes. Their gardens and farms always yielded enough to offer to the poor. All of their assets were owned collectively. They consumed maple syrup and honey instead of sugar as an act of resistance to slave labor on cane plantations. We wander the same fields they wandered, our eyes devouring the sight of mountains they, too, beheld. We study in the same rooms they faithfully worked and communed in. Our ancestors remind us who we really are. At Darrow, we uphold our collective well-being fervently. Bill Withers reminds us that we all have sorrow, but here at Darrow, we vow never to worry alone, never to endure sorrow without seeking somebody's empathy. We learn how to ask for support and how to offer it most reverently. The changes we make in the world begin with taking care of one another. As citizens of a global community sustained through interconnectedness, we have an innate responsibility. We must leverage our privilege to carry the loads of those who cannot bear them, the marginalized, the persecuted, the overwhelmed, the vulnerable, the resource scarce, the grieving, the hopeless, the silenced. Our capacity to enact powerful, tangible change through mutual acts of support is tremendous. It takes a moment of humility to ask for help. It takes a moment of selflessness to offer help. As occupiers of a shared planet, it is our collective duty to fortify a robust culture of mutual generosity by dually embodying the roles of giver and receiver. Rabbi Hillel invites you to ponder. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Bill Withers, now in sacred memory, offered us this charge through a soulful expression of longing for home.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean.
Rest in power, Bill Withers.
The Senior School Prize is awarded to the student who demonstrates strong character, high scholarship, and effective participation in the activities of the school. This year's recipient is Neshima Vitali Penniman.
The Conrad Community Award is named in honor of the late Charles Pete Conrad, Jr., a graduate of the class of 1949 and the third person to walk on the moon as commander of the Apollo 12 mission in 1969. Pete was outstanding athlete, student, and citizen in his years at Darrow. This award is presented to the member of the student body who, in the opinion of the faculty, has greatly contributed to the social, extracurricular, and residential life of the school through the effective participation, leadership, and enthusiasm. The 2020 recipient of the Pete Conrad Award is Jared Gregory Woolridge.
The Charles W. Hempstead Memorial Award for Progress was established by Mr. and Mrs. Charles S. Hempstead in memory of their son Charles, Darrow class of 1956, and is awarded to the student who has achieved the greatest progress during the school year through determined and continuous effort. This year, in faculty voting, there was a tie. The 2020 Charles W. Hempstead Memorial Award recipients are Jeffrey Marcellus and Sophie Plout.
Now it is my honor to award the Head of School Award. This student entered our community last year and grew into a quiet but steady leader within our senior class. He's not afraid to have difficult conversations with faculty and peers, and he displays both empathy and strength through his academic work and his relationships within our community. He does this with grace and humility, and we are so thrilled to honor this constant dedication today. He has been our friend, he has been our king, and now he has been our award winner. I am so pleased to present this year's Head of School Award to Eric Litvak Winkler.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeffrey, here to introduce the graduation speaker this year, Dennis Vigere. I've been lucky enough to have Mr. Vigere as an advisor the past 3 years and to be able to consider him a friend since I met him in his studio art class that I took when I was a freshman. Ever since then, Mr. Vigere has been someone that I really enjoy talking to, just really enjoy hearing from. I think he's probably one of the smartest, funniest people that I know. He has always inspired me and helped me to just better myself in every way, from pushing me to do better academically to spending an entire wind term teaching me how to oil paint. And when we were voting on the graduation speakers this year, there was no one I could think of that I would want advice from going into this next stage of my life than Mr. Vigere. So thank you for everything, Mr. Vigere. Here he is with his speech.
Good morning, family, friends, students and colleagues, and the members of the Darrow School Class of 2020. Thank you for selecting me to participate in this year's commencement speech. It is an incredible honor to be chosen by you, a group of individuals that I have such a deep respect for. My colleagues and I have watched you grow and develop over the years with a reverence and awe at your accomplishments, your insights and wisdoms that you have willingly shared with the rest of the community. Everything each of you has done, whether a celebration or something you might have swept under the nearest rug, has helped hone and strengthen this institution into something more than when you first arrived. From all of us, I would like to say thank you. I'll get this right out of the way too, stating the obvious. This is weird. It's entirely difficult not to share this space with all of you as I present. And it is especially difficult to say these words and not be able to look each of you in your eyes. I miss you, and we miss you. Yet no matter how much I would love to see this tannery packed, this format is a small price to pay. And if it means helping you and everyone stay safe and healthy in these uncertain times, then so be it. The struggle is real. This kid was about halfway to being 16, and he was outside in the bitter cold walking through the icy reflective snow. The sky was very clear, as those cold winter nights can be, and he was carrying a deep sadness in his heart that came from what was mostly happening in the house behind him. Looking down, the snow was so bright it almost hurt. And slowly, his eyes rose to the source, a big, beautiful moon, escorted by only the brightest of celestial neighbors. It was here that he fixed his gaze, holding defiant to the radiance, and he let his anger pour right out. I hate you. I hate you, God. The heaviest words that ever left those lips. How else could he explain what he and his family were going through? The ugliness of those words felt so foreign on his tongue. But he also felt an undeniable empowerment from finally taking a stance against someone, something. And he quickly realized that this could be brandished as a weapon to those around him. Growing up religious, what he had just said was a terrible thing. And so he was determined to fight hate with hate. Not all the roads you walk down are smooth and flawless. Jazz master Pharoah Sanders says, "The Creator has a master plan," and so it is. If we can gather a universal purpose for our awareness of life, it might be to learn. And what better way to educate oneself than to stare the road down and move? You will stumble, it will hurt, and you will get up. I held on to that hate for a while, felt how it numbed my pain, watched how it hurt those around me, until one night I went to confession at my church, and I sat down in one of the pews while my mother went before me, silently telling God how much I hated him. When she came out, it was my turn, and I went in. There was a retired priest there as our church awaited a new pastor, and his name was Father Guillaume. Father Guillaume sat in a chair facing me, which is not common in a confession, and he said, "Your mother told me that you hate God." And I said, "That's right." Well, Father Guillaume spoke to me that night and helped me to see that it's not at all helpful to seek to put blame on anyone for the circumstances we find ourselves in. He told me God loved me. But I can put that in non-secular terms for everyone. Life loves you being alive. These roads of experience laid out before us are riddled with struggles, pitfalls, tragedies, and temptations because life loves you. The next steps you take after you listen to this speech are leading you deeper into the forge that life provides for us as beings filled with awareness in order to make us all stronger, better versions of ourselves. What a gift this is. It was realizing this gift that that 15-year-old version of myself to happily express my love for God, life again, and to re-enter the struggle and pain that was my family with a stronger purpose. Things in my family and my life did not get better. In fact, they continued to get worse. But that conversation with Father Guillaume was the dawning of an appreciation for the challenges and adversity that we are given in our lives in order to grow. I no longer belong to a religion, but I do pray every day. And if it helps, you can choose to think of prayer as a means of programming the self to think and behave in a certain way. And I give credit to my friend Scott Bourne, the son of a preacher, for that understanding of prayer. Here is a prayer that I say every morning. Creator, thank you for the gifts that you bestow upon me. I ask in a sacred manner that you help in honoring these gifts by facing them with love and compassion, that I may grow into a better version of myself to better serve you. Laugh on a regular basis. Strange as it may seem, this is something that I have had to remind myself to practice. We exist in a reality that demands more and more of our attention as our connection and dependence on technology increases. We are just more connected, and the reality of punching a clock for a 40-hour work week is far behind us. If you are playing this game, you are working more. Working from an office, working from home, during the commute. There is a growing expectation that we are always on. This is a major problem because it does not include the need to take care of ourselves. In fact, it is pretty common to view articles and videos online that can help us unplug, essentially teaching folks how to detach from our cybernetic selves and take care of the fleshy parts, and maybe the parts of ourselves that we can't find no matter how deeply we dissect. That's right. I'm talking about the spirit, the soul, the something that makes you, you, and me, and us, we. Visionaries could see this was going to happen over 40 years ago. One artifact that truly resonated with me and millions of others in the late 70s and early 80s were Lucas's original Star Wars trilogy. Aside from being a far more exciting mythos than Roman Catholicism for a certain 5-year-old boy, it explored the struggle marrying the organic and the inorganic, the spiritual to a fault aspect of the Jedi, and the cold, callous approach of the Empire to dominate through technology. I haven't seen the most recent film, but I assume that the two factions are still trying to figure this whole thing out. How do we just get along? Well, this is where I get back to practicing laughter. There is a complexity to describing laughter. I can tell you that I actively started seeking things that would make me laugh about 4 years ago, when the world outside of our beautiful bubble started appearing a bit more divided than I had remembered it being, and that division was being cultivated by hate, anger, bigotry, and finger-pointing in so many directions. I couldn't help feel every day that I stepped out into the world that I was going to offend somebody. It was making me feel horrible inside, carrying a sadness that just kept growing. And so I decided to combat this with a self-diagnosed laughter plan. This is where I sought the help of professionals, professional comedians. And where did I find them? On the internet, of course. That very same resource that is continually the source of stress is also the provider of a salve for the ailing. Comedians have the task of making you laugh, but great comedians will make you question why you're laughing. They will also push your buttons with the expertise of a little brother. And when you find yourself offended, well, maybe it's a good time to figure out why. Taking the time to laugh is a recharge, arguably more beneficial than a multivitamin. When you take the time to laugh, you will feel the tension of obligations and errors throughout the day evaporate. The people around you will want to be close to you, and you will feel better. There is so much pain and struggle in the world. Finding the funny hidden within it is one of the oldest coping mechanisms humans use to endure. I encourage you to follow suit. Expand your perspective. You know, when I was speaking about that binary division thing that started trending about 4 years ago? Yeah, well, this is one of my great criticisms of the Star Wars trilogy. Good guys versus the bad guys, but where's the gray in between? Life is seldom so simple. And yet, this is the reality that is being carved out for us by media, politics, and other contributing factors. You are either with us or against us. A perfect strategy for those interested in power and greed, having each side point their fingers at each other while those in power stay in power. So what is the answer to this growing division? We must empathize with those we disagree with. Learn to listen to other people's perspectives and teach through example. How can we ever hope to make things better if we don't listen to one another? Start practicing to expand your perspective. Be observant. Perhaps the most consistently practiced skill I have is in seeing. I know this might sound bizarre, but give me a second to elaborate. I have spent a great portion of my life practicing seeing the world around me, staying with visual information while others have moved on. There is a lot we miss when we glance at our surroundings and assume we know where we are. When I left the valley a half hour north of here when I was 19, I was sure I knew it all, and it felt that way until I returned nearly 12 years ago. That was when I realized that what I knew about this place was more two-dimensional and flat when compared with the richness I experienced in this place as someone who has been practicing being observant. So often we are feeling the pressure to get things done, to fill our time with entertainment, or to pay attention to our screens, that we neglect the environment around us. If you spend just a few more seconds than the initial glance that most people do, you will be indoctrinated into the infinite complexities of our universe, now on the macro and micro scales. Your skills in seeing what others miss will be beneficial to you and your community, and those are steps in making the world a better place. Love is always the key. I feel compelled to wrap this up on a word often spoken freely, but one that appears to be somewhat out of practice in the world surrounding this mountainside. For me, it always comes down to love. It is the greatest lesson, the simplest of rules, yet treated as the greatest of threats. It is the greatest resource for closing divisions, healing wounds of the past, for doing the right thing, especially when it is the hardest thing to do. It appears to be the one thing the powers of this nation don't want us to do: to listen to and respect one another, to celebrate each of us for our uniqueness as well as the qualities that we share, to apologize to and to forgive one another, to heal wounds of the past and present, to give thanks and praise together for living life, and to celebrate the beautiful planet we ride on collectively through this universe. Love is the energy that flows through all things. Like a skateboarder standing on top of a long, steep hill, all that is needed is a deep breath, a little push, and you're moving. Thank you, and I love you.
Every graduating senior gets a diploma that's signed by all faculty. On the Friday afternoon before graduation, while all students are having mandatory fun, we gather in Bethards for a formal ceremony, sitting in order of length of tenure. The ceremony represents the way each member of the faculty and staff is instrumental in the preparation of our seniors. our signatures on their diplomas declare that they are ready to go out into the world. Before the public celebrations of baccalaureate and graduation, we take a moment as faculty to appreciate our part in their success. Mr. Sarla names each senior and their courses, and teachers say pass. We cheer to the announcement that each has fulfilled the requirements for a Darrow diploma. Diploma signing is my favorite Darrow tradition, and I wanted to share a bit about it with you. Although we're not able to be together this year, each diploma has still been signed in order, and each senior will have that lasting memory of their faculty.
We are now going to move to the main event, the awarding of diplomas to the Darrow class of 2020. As is tradition at the Darrow School, the advisors of the graduating seniors have prepared short celebrations of their advisees to be read aloud as they receive their diplomas. What is different this year is that those advisors will be able to read their own notes of celebration, making a virtue out of the necessity of delivering these thoughts through video. To state the painfully obvious, this is indeed a unique year. Those of us who have studied past periods of exceptional societal disruptions have often wondered what it would feel like to actually live through something like this. Well, now we know. In many ways, this feels unfair, and it is, especially for young people going through a major rite of passage they have looked forward to so long. At the same time, this unique experience is shared by millions of graduates in this country and all over the world. It is an experience that will be known by the graduates of the class of 2020 and no one else. I hope they draw some solace from that, as well as strength from the way this experience has provided and continues to provide demonstrations of their resilience in the face of extreme hardship. Darrow graduates, we all wish nothing like this would ever put your real lives on hold. But at the same time, we now know something remarkable about the reserves of strength, grit, and resilience that resides within you, and will help you navigate all of life's challenges ahead. And the fact that this traditional celebration has to be conducted in this manner, remotely, virtually, does not in any way diminish the feelings of pride and love or dim the feelings of celebration in all of the people of Darrow who have had the good fortune of meeting and getting to know these remarkable young people, who have had the good fortune of seeing them grow, have had the opportunity to partake with them of the uniquely dignified labors of teaching and learning. We will hear in the celebrations, read out loud by the advisors of the class of 2020, much of that pride, of that caring, and of that love. It will be clear how much these young people have meant to the faculty of Darrow, whose lives they have graced. The class of 2020, I invite you to receive your diplomas.
Kyla Giselle Allen. Kyla is a private and powerful woman. She has been deliberate in how little or much she shared of herself, and this year chose to give and dedicate much to this community. Her instincts to handle things on her own have been complemented by learning to ask for support when she wants it. Kyla, continue to believe in yourself. It feeds our appreciation to your dedication to your own well-being and priorities, yet with balance and loyalty to those around you. Kyla Giselle Allen.
Matthew Clark Wolf Berube. Matthew is a dynamic and delightful young man. He enjoys playing and listening to music, including bands like Pearl Jam and Bruce Springsteen. At advisor dinners, he frequently spoke of his love for his family and his dog, George. He has a devoted passion for anything affiliated with Boston sports. He even once told me that the thing that he's afraid of most in this world are Yankee fans. Matthew also has a heartfelt connection to the Darrow community, and I hope he has felt the love that we have for him. His mere presence has been a gift to the Darrow community over the past 3 years, and I wish him the best as he continues his education at Ursinus College this fall. Congratulations. Matthew Clark Wolf Berube.
Tessa Clark Gartner. Tessa is a keystone. She is a crucial piece to the lives she touches. With her solid, steady, and calm presence, any structure can stand. She is a critical piece to so many of our arches. She is crucial to her friends, reliable when tasked with a responsibility, and she leads not by instructing, but by allowing others to see her quiet strength. Tessa shines outwardly through writing about interdimensional bunnies and wearing the shoes of a fashion icon. The amazing part is how brightly Tessa shines if you are lucky enough to see her even more. She is honest, even when it is very difficult. She is brave, even when others would scatter. She is fiercely loyal, even when the winds of change are mighty. Tessa, I will so miss your tranquil, steadfast presence. At the same time, I recognize and honor that you are ready to fly. As one of our favorite directors, Hayao Miyazaki, said, "Always believe in yourself. Do this, and no matter where you are, you will have nothing to fear." Tessa Clark Gartner.
Thomas O'Reilly Davidson. I will always remember our conversation last year about going to college after Darrow and how things have changed since then. You were so mature and responsible during your senior year, and that made a huge impact in the classroom and in the dorms. Listening to you talk about music is one of the cutest things ever. You do it with so much passion. Riley, you are a kind, respectful, and a great sense of humor, and don't ever change it. Congratulations on your achievement, and good luck next year at Loyola University, New Orleans. Thomas O'Reilly Davidson.
Sebastian Lee Pfeiffer. From the moment I met him, it was clear that Sebastian didn't just march to the beat of his own drum. Sebastian wanted you to listen too. And not just march, but to dance along the path of your own choice with him. Intelligent, curious, and deeply caring, Sebastian came to the Darrow School as a junior, unsure of how he would fit into a small boarding school in upstate New York. Now, as a senior, it is difficult to imagine this place without Sebastian floating around campus, moving freely from place to place and group to group, wearing his uniquely fabricated clothing in his own way. I know that wherever Sebastian goes, the people around him will be better for it, as his warm heart and skilled hands will be tools that he will graciously share as he makes the world around him uniquely beautiful, as only Sebastian can. Sebastian Lee Pfeiffer.
Brennan D. Haran. You may not know this about Brennan, but he's a gifted photographer. The thing that is unique about photographers is their ability to wait, watch, and capture moments in time. Brennan approaches life in the way a photographer would. He's patient, observant, and intuitive to the moments that are worth capturing. Brennan's artistic sense is transparent in how he approaches life. During Brennan's time at Darrow, he came to understand himself as a person, viewed himself as a capable scholar, athlete, and friend. He became aware of the moments in which to speak up, the moments to step in, and the moments to recognize and own his mistakes. He loves his family dearly, is dedicated to helping better his community, understands the value of a good parking space, and his subtle sense of humor leaves you knowing he views the world through his own refreshing and unique lens. Brennan, it has been a joy witnessing your growth at Darrow. I will miss you here next year and wish you all the best. Brennan D. Haran.
Nikola Jocic. Drag Nikola. Never regret when you move a piece. Remain calm. Do not fear failure, but do not become dizzy with success. Invest all effort in achieving the goal. The competition is really with yourself, not your opponent. Endeavor to surpass yourself no matter what difficulty is encountered. Much is yet to be revealed. Intrepid traveler, proud of your native Serbia and possessed of the understanding and insight that comes from immersion in the foreign, you embrace challenge and demonstrate bravery in the exploration of the unknown. Your kindness and generosity is a gift freely given to those around you. You are much loved, much respected, much admired. Continue to be fearless in pursuing your passions. Everything you want is but a dream away. Najlepsze želje, drag Nikola. Nikola Jocic.
William Connor Jones. In his short time here at Darrow, William has impressed us with his deep reservoir for human kindness and compassion, his intuitive powers of perception, and a keen artistic sensibility in both the visual and performing arts. He has made a place for himself in the Darrow Theater Workshop and imbued the roles he took with vitality and wit. In conversations with peers and adults in the community, William was a voice for both the unity of humankind and justice for those who do not yet have it. His outlook on life reminds me of a quote by the English writer E.M. Forster, who said, "I believe in aristocracy, not the aristocracy of power based on rank or influence, but an aristocracy of the sensitive, the considerate, and the plucky. Its members are to be found in all nations and classes, through all ages, and there is a secret understanding between them when they meet. They represent the true human condition, the one permanent victory of our queer race over cruelty and chaos. We wish you well, William, in all your endeavors." William Connor Jones. Calvin Philip Kurtzman. Picture with me the following screenplay, which has been in development for the past 3 years. Exterior, lawn between Wickersham and the dairy barn, warm August afternoon. A young man arrives to Darrow School by way of Germany and the Philippines. He is hungry for purpose and community and is already packing a vision of his future in the film industry. Then, like a pro with a Steadicam in the Copacabana scene of the movie Goodfellas, the young man guides his journey through Darrow deftly through a dizzy array of classes, weekend activities, sports, and dorm life. Boom! He slips past the bouncer into the never-ending stairways of Neal Dormitory and eventually finds himself in the role of head RA, which he executes with integrity and humility. Pow! He weaves through the tricky lacrosse field like Ray Liotta in the Copacabana scene in the kitchen and eventually is honored with the position of co-captain. Due to his dedication to the sport and his teammates. Whoa! He schmoozes with the maitre d' of the Copa, played by Miss Jennifer Pitletsky, and talks his way into scores of artistic outlets for his restless and creative energies. Animated shorts, Shakespearean theater, wacky commercials for the yearbook and Spanish class, adaptations of movies into stage plays, coffee house performance art, major independent film projects and internships in the business. Star turns on the accordion. Is there nothing this young man can't accomplish? Finally, as he takes his well-deserved seat at the table in front of the graduation stage, He pauses momentarily. For us to appreciate his accomplishments and raise a toast in his honor. Fearless, sincere, passionate, epic artist in the making, and all shot in just one take. Here's to Calvin, his future at Emerson College, and the great wide world beyond. Calvin Philip Kurtzman.
Corinne Laird. I've been staring at a blank page for days, trying to come up with the right words to tell you about Corinne. The truth is, my words cannot do her justice. I wish instead I could show you the look of determination on her face when she is about to strike a batter out, or the smile that consumes her entire body when she sees someone she loves. I wish I could recreate all the weird and incredible animal noises she makes when we have lunch together, or share the feeling I get when I see her sing. I can't find the words to talk about Corinne because she is not a woman of words. She is a woman of action. She throws herself into things with wild abandon. She is ready to take the world by storm, and I cannot wait to cheer her on. Corinne Laird.
Eric Litvak Winkler. Eric does all the things. He stars in the school theater performances. He gets high honors every quarter, even when taking 6 classes. He pursues independent studies and passion projects. He gets into every college he applies to. And yet nobody knows, because he never makes a big deal about it. He has a quiet, unassuming strength that immediately made me like him. He is honest. He is free with his opinions in the most refreshing way, and he is sassy.
He is one of the people that made my day every time I saw him, and I will miss him every single day next year. To say I am proud to watch him graduate today is such an understatement. Mr. Glovsky and I are confident that Eric will not only tackle any problem that comes his way in the future, but that he will first verbally devastate his problems, and then, obviously solve them easily. Eric, we wish you the best of luck. We love you, and go out there and crush it. Eric Litvak Winkler.
Catherine Johanna Noel Lucians. She was elusive. She was today, she was tomorrow. She was the faintest scent of cactus flower, the flitting shadow of an elf owl. We did not know what to make of her. In our minds, we tried to pin her to a corkboard like a butterfly, but the pin merely went through and away she flew. That quote from Jerry Spinelli's book, Stargirl, came to my mind immediately when I first met Catherine. She strikes the world in a way that is head-on, unassuming, not knowing how powerful she is. Catherine has evolved and continues to grow into the person the world has only begun to see. In all her power and grace, her mark on Darrow is that she transformed and in turn transformed our community. Kat, it has been a pleasure to be your advisor and confidant in your final year at Darrow. May your future be bright and full of adventure. Congratulations. Catherine Johanna Noel Lucians.
Pablo Martin Aguirre. Pablo is such a wonderful gift to our Darrow community. All the way from the beautiful city of Madrid in Spain, he chose to spend his senior year here on the mountainside. He was always kind, worked very hard in all of his classes, and also excelled in sports. During the basketball season, I would regularly hear from the other boys on the team that Pablo was an exceptional teammate, dependable, hardworking, and loyal. He has a strong sense of family, and even with the demanding schedule, made sure to call home to his family every day. Pablo, thank you for spending your year with us. We were lucky to have you. I am excited for you and your next journey. I wish you immeasurable happiness, the truest of friends, and a life filled with adventure. Congratulations, Pablo. Felicidades, Pablo. Lo hiciste. Estoy tan orgullosa de ti. Algunas palabras favoritas de mi abuela. Ella siempre me decía, recuerda que la buena suerte es la hermana gemela del trabajo duro. Espero que realices todos tus sueños. Felicidades. Pablo Martín Aguirre.
Sophie Bella Plout. Sophie's smile can light up a room. Her laugh is infectious, her enthusiasm contagious. Her joy is what draws people to her. But if you only look at her smile, you may miss the depth of character and tenacity that lies just beneath the surface. You see, Sophie's true power does not lie in her smile or her laugh. Rather, it is in her ability to do the hard thing, to fail and try again, to stare down every challenge with grit, ferocity, and yes, usually a smile. Sophie sees the good in the world, but she also sees the brokenness. She can simultaneously mourn the loss of what she expected her senior year to be while finding ways to celebrate from afar. And so, my girl, I propose a toast to the world we dream about and the one we live in now. May you always work for the former while taking time to appreciate the latter. Sophie Bella Plout.
Ethan William Harrison Smith. Ethan, you've been a breath of fresh air these last 2 years that I've served as your advisor, teacher, and co-learner. Depending on the setting and situation, you've reliably brought a shifting mix of curiosity, inspiration, humor, insight, candor, talent, fun, wisdom, perseverance, silliness, knowledge, fortitude, resilience, kindness, wit, open-mindedness, mischief, and eloquence to your presence at Darrow. I commend you for always being yourself. After all, everyone else is taken, growing steadily more comfortable with that authentic and awesome self, and getting over your mild surprise at finding that others recognize your awesomeness and truly value you as a friend and community member. I hope you'll continue to approach your life with passion and purpose, exercising and developing your mind, hand, and spirit along the way. Never stop learning and growing, but always keep in mind Mark Twain's words of wisdom. Don't let schooling interfere with your education. Onward and upward, my friend. Ethan William Harrison Smith.
Sarah Temple Sullivan. Truly, every time I see you, Sarah, my brain starts to sing and hear Alicia Keys' "This girl is on fire." You truly can see the flame that is in those clear and determined eyes of yours. The life lens you have developed to hear, challenge, and create change in the world around you is outstanding. You have the incredible ability to transfer your mastery of artistic skills into multiple areas of your life. This is remarkable, Sarah. Your skills in shaping a lump of clay into a complex, visually stunning piece are then translated into how you approach your writing, your leadership style, and your care for the humans around you. The intensity and the level that you live, learn, and seek out new connections and experiences is beautiful. And what a journey it has been for you. You have my admiration and my joy. Best wishes for the work that you will put into your new community at Lewis and Clark. The Alicia Keys song is still playing in my head, and the next line seems to be a very natural send-off for you, Sarah. She's got both feet on the ground, and she's burning it down. She's got her head in the clouds, and she's not backing down. Sarah Temple Sullivan.
Nashima Wolf Vitali Penniman. Yellow is the color of optimism. Yellow is a compelling color that conveys youthful and fresh energy. This color of sunshine, is uplifting and illuminating and associated with success and confidence. It is no surprise to me that Nishima's favorite color is yellow, and it so happens that the first word that comes to mind for me when thinking of Nishima is brilliance. She encompassed every meaning of the word and the color in all that she has done at Darrow. As an academic, she was an enthusiastic learner and pushed herself well beyond the point of just earning good grades. As an athlete, Nishima was committed to her teams and was energetic and engaged in every practice and game. As a musician, she offered the beautiful sounds of her harp and voice to our community in many performances. As a leader, she approached her position as a core leader with warmth and intention as she helped welcome new students in the fall and carve a better path forward for future classes. Nishima's brilliance is truly remarkable and has only been surpassed by her modesty and kindness. Nishima, congratulations on a brilliant 3 years at Darrow, and best of luck with all that is to come. Nishima Wolf Vitali Penniman.
Kwaku Wooten. As an artist, Kwaku understands the value of hard work, and that's what I've seen from him in his 3 years here at Darrow. He has been an active member of sports teams, the dorm, the greater Darrow community. He's been a supportive big brother, a diligent student, and a source of strength for his friends. Through his years here, he pushed himself to develop his craft, to reach his goals, and he has a bright future ahead at MICA and beyond. He has shown himself to be unafraid to take on responsibility and unafraid of the hard work that comes with it. His determination and calm, can-do attitude make me think of Spider-Man, who said, "No one can win every battle, but no man should fall without a struggle." Kwaku, I celebrate your struggles, your successes, and your calm perseverance. You are an extraordinary young man, and I cannot wait to see the art you spread throughout the world. Kwaku Wooten.
Tench Tillman Cholnoki. Tench began his time here at Darrow in pressed white button-ups. Now, the button-ups are non-existent, a rarity in the multicolored, fashionable wardrobe of Mr. Tench Cholnoki. The one thing that hasn't changed? His hair. Much like his hair, Tench cannot be tamed. He has been passionate about making sure that there is equity, fairness, and strength at Darrow for all students. As C.S. Lewis writes in The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, "He'll be coming and going," he had said. "One day you'll see him, and another you won't." He doesn't like to be tied down, and of course, he has other countries to attend to. It's quite all right. He'll often drop in, only you mustn't press him. He's wild, you know. Tench, as you go forward, claiming the world as your own, drop in on us here at Darrow. We will miss you. The last of the Cholnoki dynasty to graduate from Darrow, your unique and wild contributions will not be forgotten. Tench Tillman Cholnoki.
Jeffrey Brian Marcellus. I have been given the pleasure to tell you just how wonderful a human being Jeffrey Marcellus is. It has been my privilege to watch Jeffrey develop and grow over the past 4 years at the Darrow School. When he first arrived in the studio, he was soft-spoken and did his best to avoid attention. But even then, on that very first day of classes 4 years ago, I swear I heard a sarcastic joke under his breath. And that is still Jeffrey. Only now we see him move through our campus with confidence and compassion, always ready to help anyone who needs assistance, still delivering wonderfully timed, subtle jokes. Please believe me that when I describe Jeffrey as one of the kindest and clear-minded individuals that I have worked with, I mean it. His passions for creative problem solving and being a part of something that is bigger than himself is witnessed in virtually everything he does. Jeffrey Brian Marcellus.
Julia Edith Ordu. Julia has been a student here at Darrow for 4 years, but a member of the Darrow community for far longer. It's not a surprise to me, considering her years here, that she used her time as a student at Darrow wisely. She has, in those 4 years, continually transformed and improved herself in myriad ways. She improved academically, tried new sports, jumped out of her comfort zone again and again. She dug into the community and pushed herself to be the best she could be. She stood by her convictions. Above all this, she turned a natural talent for singing into a future for herself. As Virgil said, "Let us go singing as far as we go. The road will be less tedious. Take your song out into the world, Julia, and when you do, sing loud and strong." Julia, Edith, or Do.
Heron Rapp. Yes, Heron. Yes, I am so proud of you. I remember the first time that you came over to Mr. Willett in my house for in-home meals. I was immediately struck by how polite and appreciative you were, as well as that golden, beautiful red head of hair that you have. Over these 4 years, I have seen you literally grow so much, and I'm truly proud of the success you achieved each year as you developed your learning and creative process. I admired how you took on new experiences and challenges, moving through them in your wonderful Heron way of observing and looking for what area you could step into, thinking about how it would impact your life and how much you could give to each role and job that you took on. While I would watch in awe at how you were able to work your way across the soccer field with such grace and power, I treasured even more those advisor block moments fueled by Stewart's iced coffee when you shared your wonderful sense of humor to encourage and support everyone in the group. I am excited for your future, Heron, and the adventures you will have as you continue to watch and explore this world and step up and speak when your heart compels you to. The future belongs to the curious, the ones who are not afraid to try it, explore it, poke it, question it, and turn it inside out. Congratulations, Heron Rapp.
Matthew G. Williams. Matthew, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for 14 years. Yay, Kinderkickers! Being your Darrow advisor for 4 years, teaching you for 1 year, and learning from you throughout. Watching you grow into the fine young man you are today has been incredibly rewarding, and I know that you're just getting going on what promises to be an amazing life journey. I now look forward to being ringside for many years to come, cheering you on and celebrating the many successes and joys that await you. Never forget that I will always be in your corner, no matter where you are in your life and in the world. And now that we've got Darrow out of the way, I think it's time to return to the good old days of Matt and John. Matthew G. Williams.
Jared Gregory Woolridge. Jared, your drive and hunger for learning how to live your best life is palpable. Your passion to care and teach communities through the power of physical work, cooking delicious meals, and dynamic dialogues is outstanding. This past September, during convocation, you spoke as our student body president with confidence that reflected your desire and perseverance to grow over the course of these 4 years. You shared the response musician Darley Davis had when asked why, as a black man in America, he would meet with a high-ranking Ku Klux Klan member. Davis had said, "I wasn't there to fight him. I was there to learn from him. Once you learn where it comes from, you can then try to figure out how to address it." After you read this quote, Jared, you looked up at all of us and asked us, if a black man and a member of the KKK can learn how to speak and learn from each other, what's stopping us? Through the following months, you worked with your peers and faculty to challenge and ask us to be better, to take care of each other, to listen, and to change. Michael Jordan said, "Some people want it to happen, some wish it could happen, others make it happen." Mr. Jared Gregory Woolridge, you make it happen. Jared Gregory Woolridge.
Yuzhang Andy Wu. To see the way a machine works, you can take the covers off and look inside. But to understand what goes on, you need to get to know the principles that govern its actions, advises David Macaulay's The Way Things Work. Andy understands the way things work. and likes to repair and build them. But the principles that govern his actions are more altruistic than those of machines. He seeks to understand the systems, but in the service of helping people. Although he economizes words and energy, Andy has looked inside the cover of the Darrow community and recognized its principles of unity and individualized care. In addition to using the correct wrench or the appropriate formula, he uses sly humor, youthful joy, continuous effort, and that casual arm draped around a shoulder to make his community function more smoothly. Yuzheng Andy Wu.
Rihanna Gabrielle Young. I have a question. When we meet and after an initial hello, this is how Rihanna begins our conversations. Her one question inevitably leads to another and another. I often marvel at her inquiries as they offer such a clear insight into how her mind works. Perceptive, curious, and refreshingly earnest. Throughout her 4 years at Darrow, Rihanna has held tightly onto those inquisitive qualities that make her so endearing and the young woman that she is today. She has immersed herself into all aspects of Darrow, from academics, sports, prefectships, and friendships. She has approached each one with a sincere determination, creativity, and a sly sense of humor. Rihanna, I am so proud of you and will miss you dearly next year. Never stop questioning, never stop wondering. You are more than ready to tackle any challenge that lies ahead of you. Rihanna Gabrielle Young.
Congratulations to the Darrow class of 2020. You did it. Normally, this is the moment when we would all process out of the tannery. We would hug and cry. I would tell each of you how proud I am of you. Of course, nothing is normal right now. It's easy in this unusual time to focus on all the things we don't get to do, and all the canceled plans and delayed celebrations. But I hope you take a moment today and reflect on this amazing thing you just did. On all the lessons learned, the friendships made, the games won and lost and canceled because of snow in May. On all the mall trips, Tuesday night dinners, Friday morning meetings, coffee houses, lazy Sunday afternoons, Jolene open hours, and all those other big and small moments that got you to this point. Because today, graduation day, is not just about this one moment, but about all those in-between moments that made up your time here. I know this is not the ending we had planned, but it's also not the end. We will find ways to celebrate in person, and we will get to hug each other again. You will always have a home here on the mountainside. But for now, the world is waiting, and it needs you now more than ever. So go, do, be amazing, and make good choices.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down to where we are to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight till eternity.